to me, especially my father, or who losing my father, has got so many defects, or let's say, should I use the word rightly? Let's say so many negative impacts on my life. Losing a father who was potentially very credible in every way of my life. He was someone who was the breadwinner, and a brave, and a man who was committed to do things and to establish a family that will sort of last as long as he might, and he put his life out there for his family, and to lose such a person, you can imagine, either by natural means or by forceful means, unwilling means, whichever way it is, somebody's life taken. It's a lot. It could be a lot to that person. Some people that they would not willingly want to see themselves drowned. And so that is the main reason why I wouldn't think that if a man is so terrible, and we use the means of trying to figure out what these people are and try to crack them and destroy them and kill them, it's a good approach whichever way it is. But since it was happening in the name of a god or something, you can really have a clear mind that the men are trying to, because Laden was using godly ways of doing things. That's one thing which I'm trying to say there. No, if you take your initiative to do something, do it. But he had a book to back what he chose to do. In a sense of Obama and the rest of Americans and all the multinational, it is a normal approach that they feel that, okay, such a person in society we don't want. But what society is the West building? Are they really fair in their approach? Had they honestly become fair? They opened the borders to some. Are they reaching out to the entire world to really help people as they have the ability to do it? No. They are selfish. The selfish things are before everybody knows that. And if I get adopted, I become selfish too. So the inhabitants, the people out there, you and I, don't realize this. I don't realize that. I don't realize it much, except that I have sat down and I'm thinking about it. But in practicality, I have no choice than to find ways to survive in such a situation, in such a world. But if looking at the news and the things that are done behind the scenes and the things that comes out, it might be rumor, you might doubt it, whichever way it is, you can clearly see that if the world has moved on, and we're thinking of a unipolar world, or we're thinking of coming together, and we're thinking of religions coming together, or culturally come together, or whatever, politically coming together, where Americans are promoting what they believe as the democracy, whilst Russians were, campaigning for something else, socialist world and all that. You ask yourself, it comes with a price. It comes with some sort of decision making. And those decisions and those sacrifices and those lives were taken, and so many animosity and great deal of vendetta generated out of it. And all these things, there have been a lot of big betrayals. Society is in chaos. People mostly do this because of what they believed. And as I said, some point in time, it was all generated strongly in a few generations, maybe back from now. It was more a religious ruling states which were there, because transformed themselves to religion. Yeah, so religion took part. What sort of religion that took part is what we are supposed to clearly identify. Were they genuinely coming from an honest end? I don't think so. It was a transformation of military people who believe in death and killing life and doing everything in a human approach, and they decided to convert themselves because somehow they were convinced. They got convinced spiritually, physically, by people who were also convinced, like Paul and all that, transforming people to sort of believe that what he was saying or what he was doing was godly inspired and was good, and people got caught up into it and saw the sense in what he was doing. But I don't know. I just asked themselves questions and never got caught up. But those who get caught up into it, did they ask themselves that if God really, really want to change and build the world and do something, does he have to use Paul or use Jesus or use Moses or use Muhammad? Would he have to use anybody, me or you? Do you think so? Now, what God am I talking about? I'm talking about Allah. I'm talking about Jehovah. I'm talking about Buddha. I'm talking about all the God, whatever God that you worship. Has he got the abilities that I said, have it at the back of your mind? Omniscience, omnipotent. Is he that type of God? Is he a real God or a statue? Is he a God of the physical attributes that you have and even more than what you have? Is he a God of that unique sense, a God of all power, unlimited power? A God is a provider, a God that is a provider. Is he that type of God? Is Allah that type of God? Then you will, if you are thinking along this line, because that's what I'm thinking, to say what I'm saying, it's because that is what I am thinking. That's why I'm saying what I'm saying. But if that is not what the God description that I've given is to you, then you will have to agree with me that you have to pardon my words, not to worry yourself or to get yourself concerned about it. But I believe that there are many out there, even the books prove that, who thinks along the line, and I've quoted it out to you, that Jehovah is omniscient, omnipotent is here in the Quran. Allah is omniscient, omnipotent, so he's all powerful person. And such a person, he did the creation. In the Quran, he says many gods. It's not like he is a one. So here, it says it's one, and sometimes it's revealed that it's more than that. And actually, the text itself, which proves that God is plural, it's not one. So why they preach God is one, I don't know. It's plural. They know that, and they still preach something else. So if you go to Bible school to study, then they have to tell you that it is plural. But when you come to the church and you're sitting there, you'll not be told that it's plural. They have translated and say God. That's it. So I don't know why we do it anyway. You keep people blind in certain states, yet you want to change them. You want to give them the message how you do it. Now, coming to the point, all I want to say is, if God himself wants to do something to you, he wants to change you, he wants to build your life, he wants to do all that with all his abilities, he doesn't need to go through me or anybody. He can get it done. I wasn't there from the beginning when he created the universe. He even created me according to the book. These books that he formed me and made me to become what I am. So he doesn't need me. And he didn't need me before. Why would he need me now? He created me to do something for him? No. The entire big universe. This big, huge place. You can imagine. I can't even see the end and the beginning of it. This huge place. And not just this. There is much more out there. Much more has been discovered in this universe. And we believe the book wants you to understand that he created all that. The heavens and the earth. And the sun. The moon. These big, big things. He created them. If he wants you, even if you are the tiniest ant, he wants you to move. You think he can't move you? A simple man will have money and riches. Have been able to capture riches and, have cheated you out of the resource that you and him or have to have. Or he has used his brains and has been acquired so much riches and he's not sharing with you and he's holding on to it and you are starving. Because you are starving, the rich man with his money has got the power through money to tell you, go here, you go. Lie down, you lie. Sleep, you sleep. Anything he tells you, you do it. How much more God, who is more richer and powerful than that man? Because he owns everything, including what that rich man owns. It belongs to him. Whatever it is that you have, how you able to acquire, the things you have to acquire, whatever you acquire is his. Everything you see is his. That means he has got power. He has got power that when he asks you to sleep, you sleep. When he wants you to sleep, you will sleep. He doesn't need you to convince you all the day to sort of get you to do something. But then again, what are we going to do to prove God? They didn't ask themselves those questions. So they allowed to let it go. They have allowed it to let it go.